Hello, and hello, everyone. A happy hump day. When I was working 9 to 5, it was my favorite day, except, of course, for Friday. Welcome to the Let's Talk Variety Show. My name is Andy Asher. A great show today. Part 3 of our series with Ed Hajim. And I cannot hide my admiration and sense of awe about how he was raised in an orphanage, kidnapped by his father, told that his mother had died, lived alone as a teen. He turns out as the most humble, amazing high achiever with a family, and at 87 shares some life's best lessons.
But you're always out of balance. And if you recognize that, my third book, one of the chapters is going to be Balance is Bull. Whatever it is, bull. Because it is bull.
Did you hear that right? He said life is about being out of balance. Until he spoke those words, I was under the belief that we need to seek balance in life. You know, he's right in my mind. His interview is coming up. Meantime, Mimi is working away in the kitchen. Let's see what she's working on.
And very easy. You can put a straw, but, worrying about the environment, you just drink it like this.
Thanks, Mimi. And we will be right back with you. And by the way, did anyone watch those hearings last week about the existence of UFOs or unidentified flying objects, phenomena in the sky that cannot be identified? While there have been numerous reports of UFO sightings throughout history, the existence of extraterrestrial life or advanced alien civilization has not been confirmed. Here is a clip from that hearing.
Today, I want to thank each of you for being here to discuss a topic of grave importance to our national security. Earlier this year, a Chinese spy balloon was shot down off the coast of my home state of South Carolina. Since the Roswell incident in 1947, many Americans have wondered about the dangers of unknown objects crisscrossing our skies. Whether these are UAPs or weather phenomena, advanced technology from American allied or enemy forces, or something more out of this world.
They say UFO sightings can often be attributed to natural phenomena, misidentifications, or even hoaxes. Scientists and researchers continue to investigate these sightings to better understand the nature of these unidentified objects. Those hearings last week shed new light on the subject. It's very, very interesting. Today in our supermarket tabloid segment, still a lot of headlines concerning Barbie and Oppenheimer, two blockbuster motion pictures that theaters have been hoping for years since the pandemic. Other big news, Jennifer Lopez, also known as J-Lo, born July 24th, 1969, in the Bronx, turned 54 with a big splashy birthday bash. Lopez began her career as a dancer on the television show In Living Color in the early 1990s. She then ventured into acting and gained recognition for her roles in movies such as Selena, Out of Sight, and The Wedding Planner. As I promised you, part 3 of the Ed Hajim story and why he is an advocate of living life unbalanced. In this segment, he talks about his book and the 4 Ps.
I went back and I looked at how I made decisions. And I kept coming up with these 4 words: passions, principles, partners, and plans. And I did write my plans down, a big bunch of yellow pads with all these things on it. I always asked myself, what is your passion? And what are your principles? What are you living by? What rules you're going to follow? What kind of partners do you need in order to get this thing done? So let's go through that just a little bit. To start with the passions, when I was in high school, my passions were, like a lot of us, baseball, basketball, math, science, and girls. And went to college, that morphed. After my freshman year, and I realized after playing freshman baseball and basketball that I wasn't going to be a professional athlete, that morphed. It morphed into extracurricular activities. And I found out there was some passion there. I really enjoyed putting people together to get something done, whether it was a project or became social chair of my fraternity. And actually came across my real passion. I didn't know it at the time. My junior year, I founded a humor magazine, because at Rochester, I felt that fun was going to die, a place where fun went to die. So I had this humor magazine, which everybody's against. The president was against, provost was against, librarian was against. But I found not only did I like putting people together to get something done is I really enjoyed helping people do better than they thought they could. Even the cartoonist, I was a terrible drawer, but I helped him. And that really, and I didn't know it at the time, but later on in my business career, I realized that's why people liked to work with me, because they really felt that I was interested in helping them do better than they thought they could. All right? So
Yeah.
I learned my passion. And in the math and science, I tried physics. I wanted to be a physics major. But I got into my sophomore year, I took an advanced physics course, looked around. Everybody was smarter than I was. But more importantly, they were more dedicated than I was. I probably could have competed, but I had to give up everything else. So I got the hell out of physics in a hurry and did chemical engineering, where I was able to get through, which was good. And then later on, chemical engineering, I worked as an engineer for a while. In fact, with my background, I was in plastics before Dustin Hoffman. five years before, I was in plastics with
Get into
Hercules.
plastics. Yeah.
I get into plastics as a young man, and I got in there early and found out that although that was good, I was going to business school. They said you should go to business school. I would have gone back into plastics, but I had this other business which fascinated me, which was mutual funds and stocks and bonds. And so I transferred into that. And then I found my real passion was this ability to go out and talk to people, find out how the companies work. And I had a knack for the stock market. So not only do you have a passion, but you also have a talent or an interest and so forth. It all came together. And then I had to find partners. And when I got to Lehman Brothers, I was sitting there one day in my office and smoking my cigar, and one of the partners came and said, "Ed, you're a talented guy." He said, "But you have one real weakness." I said, "What's that?" And I don't have any weaknesses. Those days, you're 40 years old, you got a cigar, you're not weak. You have no weakness.
Right.
He said, "You're not good on the numbers." I said, "I'm an engineer. What am I not good on numbers?" And I started to think about it. When I run a business, I work first on culture, second on strategy, third on people, and then finally I do get to the numbers, because my life, they've always taken care of themselves. You take care of those other three things normally. So he said, "I'm going to introduce you to somebody." He brought in this 6'5" guy who's a numbers man. And he and I spent 35 years together, and he saved my life many times. I found a real partner. Wherever I went, next 3 jobs, he followed me. We went together, and he saved my life, at least once a week, because I had a partner. So I came up with the idea of partners. You find partners, first of all, who do things that you can't do. Guy who draws cartoons. This guy was a great accountant. He did a lot of things I couldn't do. He's a tax guy, I couldn't do that. Also, you find partners who do things better than you can do. So that you got that capability. Then the third part, and nobody realizes, there are partners you should have that things that you do really well that you don't want to do. I'm a good salesman, but I don't like selling. Yeah. So I sell for a while until things are going. Then I bring somebody else in to do that. If you find someone who does all those 3 things, you end up with doing things that you do well that you like to do. And that's nirvana. Now you can't get that all the time. You may have to more than one person. And also it's contextual again. The kinds of people you want at Lehman Brothers or Furman Cells in the investment business are very different than the kind of people you want at the University of Rochester. And because one has a very different MO than the other one. So you have to have different kind of partners. And in most cases, I wrote those partner plans down. I laid out all that stuff so that when I got back and things were not good or I was having trouble, I'd go back and look at those written plans. And I think that you'll see that in the 4th chapter on plans, it's a very important thing, especially young people. Thinking about their context, the next 50 years, what do they want to be involved with? And I really pitched the idea of getting the wind at your back. If you read biographies, you'll find out that almost every successful person spends a significant part of his or her life with the wind at their back. And my own back. I took over this investment bank in 1983 as the managing partner. And I did a great job. We grew the company 20 times in 20 years. But during that period, the stock market was up over 10 times.
Yeah.
So I was in a good period. And you look at almost anybody that you come across. Long answer, short question again. Andy, you're not doing a good job of cutting me off.
Yeah. Well, the wind at your back is so true, and sometimes it's important to recognize when the wind is there and to stay with the gale. But you were also talking about partnerships, the importance of partnerships, and there's been a lot of discussion lately about the crisis of loneliness and bringing up partnerships. That I think that you can tie the two together, and maybe something that people might think about seeking is are partners because they can make a better life and also eliminate loneliness.
In the beginning of my chapter on partners, and I'll make the pitch very simple. You got to find someone to love. It's it's absolute necessity. P1, as I call her. Without Barbara, I wouldn't be here today for sure. I mean, she really is very important. Someone who you can support, who can support you, who's really interested in you, who you can basically, share your life with, and ask the questions. I mean, I ask almost every question, and we've been together. We're going to celebrate our 58th wedding anniversary. I mean, man convicted of murder, he gets out in 50. I mean, so.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, just find someone to love, someone who can share your life with, and they're real principles. Somebody said it, I think it was Billy Graham, that the best marriage is of two forgivers, and so that's another thing. And also, that's why the 4 P's are so important. Everybody changes, and so they have these little rules. For example, don't go more than a couple of weeks without spending at least a little bit of quiet time with your partner. And I have other rules like, if you can help it, early marriage, go on a car trip for 4 or 5 or 6 days where you're stuck together, where you can talk about everything. And then other kinds of tricks that you use, date night and all that sort of stuff. Or, I always say, if you really you take a terrible job like I did at Lehman Brothers, every couple months send your wife flowers, just because.
Yeah.
And there are a period of time you say, look, this is going to be a tough 3 or 4 years, and I'm going to have to really concentrate on this thing, because I believe in order to be successful, you have to focus. As soon as you focus, and I always use these 4 parts of life: self, family, work, and community, which is giving back. Once you focus on one of those, the others actually get neglected, almost by definition. People that work too hard end up getting divorced. People that spend too much on the family don't succeed as well in business. If you spend too much time on yourself, you become narcissistic. So balance is really not a word. It's a euphemism, because there's no such thing. You're always out of balance, and your game plan in life is to move back toward balance at all times.
Life is about being out of balance. Until he spoke those words, I was under the belief that we need to seek balance in life. But he is so right. Part 4 of his interview is on the next show. So now, I have been waiting for this. What delicious smoothie is Mimi making in the kitchen? Hi, Mimi.
Oh, hello. I remember I said I'm going to come back with another mango or pineapple. But guess what? I got some melon. It's also the time to eat melon. It is delicious. You have honeydew, you have melon, you have so many varieties of melon. So use them again for night smoothies, by the pool, or anytime you want. So today you will need a squeeze of a lime, fresh lime, a cup of any melon you like, 2 small frozen bananas. I always have some bananas in the freezer. So, okay. A half a cup of almond milk or oat milk, or just normal milk, and half a cup of Greek yogurt, and Greek yogurt plain. Voila! So we're gonna start doing that. It is good and very refreshing and easy to make, and it can replace a meal. So you don't have to, you go to swim or you're having friends over, just make a smoothie like this one. Everybody's gonna be satisfied. All right, you add all the ingredients. All right. And by the way, if it's a little thick, you can always add a little bit of almond milk or any milk you like. Voila. And your squeeze of a lime. If you like it very lemony, you can put the whole lime, like me. I like lime, so there you go. Voila. And Oh, what is my thing? Oh, it's right here. So there you go. And we start doing it. And of course, I need a glass. So I'm going to get it right now. There you go. Voila. Okay, this thing is has a little attitude, you know. It doesn't just start. Oh, some people are gonna be so happy to drink this. All right. Ooh. Wow, wow, wow. Smells delicious. Aha. And you know, I love basil or mint. You can add some fresh basil like I'm gonna do now. There you go. Just on top like this, it's just gonna give you a little fragrance. Oh, perfecto. You see how beautiful this is? Now I'm gonna taste it. No, seriously, this is delicious. What's not to like? Bananas and melon and yogurt, and it's fantastic. Try it. Please do. Look how beautiful this is. And very easy. You can put a straw, but you know, worrying about the environment, you just drink it like this. Cheers. And see you next time.
Thank you, Mimi. And I want to thank you for your supporting the show. And if you liked it or you learned something new, I want to tell you 3 ways that you can support the show and keep the Let's Talk Variety Show going. And number 1, just get yourself subscribed. Every week, I am bringing some inspirational guests who can teach or have something interesting to share. So just take a moment to hit that subscribe button. And then number 2, this is really the ultimate way to support the Let's Talk Variety Show, and it takes less than a minute. You can write something just short and sweet like, I love the show. It has changed your life, or something, maybe something you learned from it. I am not exaggerating that I read reviews every single day, and every single one, whether short or long, it means everything to me. And the more reviews means the higher we rank on all those algorithms, which means bigger guests. So just take a minute to leave a review. And then 3, share the show with your friends. Just hit that share button. We live stream on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I just got to tell you, I'm eternally grateful, and thank you so much for supporting the Let's Talk Variety Show. It's about productivity, positivity, happiness, and inspiration.